Welcome back, everybody. Today, the candidates are on the trail again, ultimately both landing here in New York City tonight for an annual Catholic charity dinner. Yesterday for President Obama and Joe Biden, it was all about the binders. They were attacking Mitt Romney for comments he made at the debate about receiving binders full of women. Here's what happened.
We don't have to collect a bunch of binders to find qualified, talented, driven young women ready to learn and teach in these fields right now.
The idea here to go and ask where a qualified woman was, he just should have come to my house. He didn't need a binder.
Bob McDonnell is the governor of Virginia. He's the chairman of the Republican Governors Association. He's a Romney campaign supporter. It's nice to see you, sir. Always nice to have you with us. You can see, obviously, the Obama campaign is running with what has become a little bit of an internet sensation, Tumblr account that went viral. Is there a genuine concern about any kind of impact on voters, outside of being sort of funny from some people's perspective? The big question, I think, for you would be, do you worry that this is actually going to affect women and their vote?
Not at all. This is a serious campaign, and I think maybe a laugh or two here or there is probably a good idea. Hopefully the Catholic Charities event will get a few more of those. But Soledad, if you saw the Pew poll today, Mitt Romney's gone from 18 points down with women to now tied 47-47. And despite all the rhetoric and all the attempts of the Obama administration to separate men from women over social issues, largely contrived, what I think men and women care about in this election, Soledad, is the economy, getting us back to work and getting us out of debt. What Mitt Romney's point was is he actually affirmatively went out to make sure that he had great, competent, qualified women in his cabinet. I think at one point had more women in his cabinet than any governor in the country. So that was the broader point. I'm glad the Obama administration is having fun with it. But the point is, this race is now clearly going in the way of Mitt Romney because he's a serious candidate. He's a leader. And I think the debates are proving that.
Hang on for 1 second, Governor. I want to ask a question of Will Cain. Politically speaking, he's saying, listen, at the end of the day, it's funny and everyone can run around with it. But bigger question is, will it have political impact? Do you think, I think supporters will always say, not really.
Well, it's always hard to, and we should not underestimate the power of popular media, like SNL parodies and
what is
this
that
kind of
impact?
For the casual, uninformed voter, I'm afraid it impacts them quite a bit. The question isn't will it, but should it? And this is just being turned into. The mayor and I had a back and forth earlier about this. Something that I think that is being built into a political tool that was just a little funny line.
Governor, let's get back to a little bit of the debate. We heard in the debate Mitt Romney talking about his tax proposal, and he said this. I want to play that clip.
Every middle-income taxpayer no longer will pay any tax on interest, dividends, or capital gains. No tax on your savings. That makes life a lot easier. If you're getting interest from a bank, if you're getting a statement from a mutual fund, or any other kind of investments you have, you don't have to worry about filing taxes on that, because there'll be no taxes for anybody making $200,000 a year and less on your interest, dividends, and capital gains.
The president, at the time of the debate, used the word sketchy to describe the governor's math. I want to play that chunk as well.
If somebody came to you, Governor, with a plan that said, here, I want to spend $7 or $8 trillion, and then we're going to pay for it, but we can't tell you until maybe after the election how we're going to do it, you wouldn't have taken such a sketchy deal, and neither should you, the American people, because the math doesn't add up.
The president called it sketchy, and there's a new tax policy center rated the Governor Romney's plan, and they say these new estimates suggest that Romney will need to do much more than capping itemized deductions to pay for the roughly $5 trillion in rate cuts, other tax benefits that he has proposed. So they're basically saying the math doesn't work. Is this very damaging because the details have been low at this point?
No, there's 6 other studies, including one from Princeton and American Enterprise Institute and others, that say that the Romney math does work. But the first question really is, what's the president's plan to get us out of debt? He's had 4 years, Soledad, and we've got 23 million people that can't work. We have higher taxes. We're $6 trillion more in debt, and Americans have $4,000 less in take-home pay. I think we start with that. and then ask, what's the rationale for a second term of Barack Obama that's going to make us any more financially secure?
So you know the other six reports. Let me just stop you there for 1 second if I can, Governor, because you know, and we've discussed this a lot. Those other 6 reports, one was a blog post. Some of those are completely partisan. So they've been debunked in a lot of ways. I guess my question would be, you don't think the Tax Policy Center is accurate when they say this is not going to work? This does not add up. That's what they say.
No, I'm saying if you look at credible reports from American Enterprise Institute and Princeton University, you've got a contrary view on that. So there's studies, I think, on both sides. I'm saying that there's not a plan for President Obama that he's laid out for the second 4 years that I think will produce any different results. At least Mitt Romney has a plan, and what he believes is that you don't get more revenue to solve the debt problem simply by raising taxes. That's the one plan that President Obama's laid out. He says that the way you do it is you have a tax code that encourages economic growth and job creation, and you grow the economy that way. It really is a fundamental difference between the two candidates on how you raise revenue and get us out of debt.
And as you well know, the American Enterprise Institute is a conservative think tank, so having them support that is not exactly a surprise. Before I let you go, I want to ask you a quick question about Virginia. 2008, President Obama was the first Democrat to carry Virginia. I think it was like in 40-some-odd years. Pre-date...
44.
44 years. So pre-debate polling showed that the president was up 15 points in the state of Virginia. We don't really have good post-debate polling yet, and we're hoping to get that soon. How worried are you that your state is going to go for President Obama when the polls show a significant lead pre-debate after the first pretty awful debate?
I'm not sure what you're looking at there, Soledad. I can only tell you that 5 months ago, Mitt Romney was down 8 points in Virginia. Today, almost all the polls have him up 1, 2, or more points. And I think it had a lot to do with that first debate. When people actually got to see Barack Obama and Mitt Romney side by side, overwhelmingly, and especially women, decided this was a leader. This was a guy with real answers and real solutions that focused on results, not rhetoric, not blame like the president, that had a way to get us jobs and get us an energy plan and get us out of debt and provide more incentives for entrepreneurs. So there's a lot of polls, Soledad, as you know. I think some are probably more reliable, but the trends are unmistakably going towards Mitt Romney. He was here yesterday with Paul Ryan the day before. He'll be back in the near future. He's spending a lot of time in Virginia, as
near
is the
future,
president.
like 20, only have 20-some-odd days. So it better be the near future. Only 20-some-odd days to this election. Nice to see you, sir. Thank you for talking with us. We always appreciate it.
Okay,
Governor
Soledad.
McDonnell from the state of Virginia.
Glad to be back on.
Pleasure. We got to take